Out in the parched solitude of the Arizona desert, beneath a sky heavy with memory and silence, there's a woman whose name still carries the weight of rebellion. Jessi Coulter, once the fiery outlaw queen of country music, now lives in near total quiet. Her life today is hidden from the noise she once commanded, split between a rustic ranch outside Phoenix and a secretive property somewhere further north, a place whispered about by industry insiders, but rarely seen by anyone. She turned her back on the spotlight years ago, and yet, somehow, her presence has only grown more powerful. In early 2024, a rare interview hinted at something extraordinary, a revelation that could reshape how we understand her legacy. Jessi herself put it simply, almost cryptically, "They don't know what I still have hidden." There are lives so layered that the stage could never contain them, and Jessi's is one of them. Her story stretches across decades of music history, across dusty highways and crowded honky-donks, across the chaos of love, fame, and survival. For years she was introduced only as the wife of Whan Jennings, but Jessi's voice, both literally and figuratively, has always been unmistakable. It carried the ache of real life, the grit of a woman who refused to stay in the background, and the defiance of someone unwilling to play by Nashville's polite rules. And now, at 82, with most of the noise behind her, she sits on a treasure trove of secrets, rare recordings, handwritten lyrics, artifacts from a life that changed American music, and holds the keys to a chapter the world has yet to read. Her home near Phoenix is deceptively simple. High wooden beams stretch across the ceiling, Navajo rugs warm the floor, and sunlight filters through windows that overlook miles of quiet desert. It's a house built not for display, but for refuge. There is no security team stationed outside, no staff tending to her needs. Jessi lives off the grid by choice, tending to herself, writing in leather-bound journals, listening to the same old vinyl records she spun in the 1970s. Each evening, she walks the desert at sunset. It is here, in this vast silence, that she seems to have found the closest thing to peace. But just beyond this quiet, beyond the humble charm of the ranch, lies something far more extraordinary, a second property shrouded in secrecy, rumored to house one of the most important private archives in country music history. Those who have heard whispers call it the Lost Vault. Inside, it's said to be a personal museum of sorts, handwritten lyrics from Whan Jennings, stage outfits from the Outlaw era, old contracts, press clippings, and Jessi's own journals stretching back to the 1960s. Most tantalizing of all, there are unreleased recordings, over 30 songs, according to some close sources, including duets with Whan, raw demos, and solo tracks that even her closest fans have never heard. One song in particular, titled "The Water's Still Cold," has reached almost mythical status among die-hard country historians. It was supposedly recorded in the immediate aftermath of Whan's passing, a heartbreak captured on tape that Nashville executives have reportedly offered millions for. Yet Jessi has refused every single offer. To her, these songs are not commodities. They are memories. They are pieces of her life she isn't ready to give away, not yet, maybe not ever. This quiet defiance has defined her from the very beginning. Jessi Colter entered the outlaw country movement as one of its few women, surrounded by men who were praised for their rebellion while women were expected to smile politely. She did neither. She sang songs that were raw and confessional, songs that pulled no punches about heartbreak and independence. Her breakout hit, "I'm Not Lisa," wasn't just a love song. It was an anthem of individuality, a quiet refusal to be compared or diminished. That refusal, that insistence on being seen as herself, carried her through decades of personal and professional storms. And even now, after so many years in hiding, that same spirit shapes every choice she makes. Family, for Jessi, has always been the center of gravity. Her relationship with her son, Shooter Jennings, is as legendary as her music. She raised him on the road, amidst the chaos of touring life, giving him a childhood both unconventional and unforgettable. After Whan's death in 2002, she became more than a mother. She became the protector of his legacy and the silent architect of Shooter's career. Behind the scenes, Jessi funded tours, co-wrote material anonymously, and quietly negotiated contracts, ensuring that Shooter's path in music was his own but still rooted in the family's values. Their bond is deeply artistic, fiercely protective, and, at times, complicated. There have been quiet tensions, especially regarding the handling of Whan's unreleased recordings and the estate, but beneath it all lies a devotion that has never wavered. Shooter himself has admitted in interviews that no major decision gets made without his mother's blessing. Her personal style remains a signature as much as her music. At 82, Jessi still wears embroidered Western jackets, bold turquoise jewelry, and the same kind of boots she wore decades ago. Some of them originals she has kept lovingly preserved. Her vehicles tell the same story of quiet confidence: a black Cadillac Escalade gifted by Shooter and a meticulously restored 1983 cherry red Mercedes-Benz SL she bought with one of her first royalty checks. These aren't possessions for show, they're talismans of a life fully lived. Financially, Jessi's independence is hard-earned. While many artists of her era lost control of their catalogs, she fought to retain her publishing rights, ensuring that hits like "I'm Not Lisa" continued to provide steady income. Over the years, she's made strategic choices, like selling off non-essential parts of her publishing catalog in 2021 for $2.5 million while keeping the crown jewels untouched. Limited edition vinyl reissues and carefully curated merchandise have added to her wealth, which is estimated at between $5 and $8 million, a modest sum compared to flashier stars, but one built on ownership and smart stewardship. Land investments near Sedona and stakes in a boutique Western clothing line run by family members further illustrate her careful, personal approach to building stability. She manages her finances herself, signing her own checks, staying intimately involved in every detail. But beneath all these practicalities lies something deeper: Jessi Coulter's unwavering grip on her own narrative. Throughout her career, she navigated a male-dominated industry that often tried to define her as someone else: Whan's wife, the pretty outlaw, the supporting act. She quietly rewrote those rules without making a spectacle of it. When the Grand Ole Opry repeatedly failed to fully embrace her, denying her membership and sidelining her in favor of more traditional artists, Jessi didn't beg for inclusion. Instead, she walked away. Invitations to return, even decades later, were declined with short, handwritten notes like the one she sent in 2022, "The time for flowers is past." It was a line that spoke volumes: bitterness to some, liberation to others. Either way, it captured her refusal to chase validation from institutions that never truly understood her. Her spirituality has always been the hidden thread running through her story. Raised Pentecostal as a preacher's daughter, Jessi found her first stage in church choirs, her first refuge in hymns. Over time, that faith evolved into something deeply personal, a blend of scripture, intuition, and quiet resilience. It sustained her through Whan's battles with addiction, through her own heartbreaks, through the grind of fame. In 2006, she recorded a gospel album called Out of the Ashes, a raw outpouring of both grief and gratitude. Even today, she keeps a private prayer room, spending hours in reflection, talking to lost loved ones, seeking peace. She doesn't attend church regularly anymore. Her communion is with the desert sky, her prayers whispered into the wind. These days, Jessi's routines are slower but deliberate. She wakes early, meditates, writes letters she never intends to send. She cooks simple meals, avoids alcohol, though she still enjoys a single glass of red wine at sunset. Occasionally, she hums melodies into a recorder, unfinished ideas, fragments of something she may or may not ever share. Rumors swirl that she's quietly working on a final project, perhaps a memoir, perhaps a spoken-word album, perhaps a documentary she's producing herself. Those who've seen glimpses of it describe something raw and unforgettable, a body of work that could finally put her story, in her own words, into the world. For younger generations, Jessi Colter is being rediscovered. Her early Outlaw records are finding new audiences online, her lyrics circulating on social media, her gospel work being hailed as ahead of its time. Modern country artists cite her as an influence, some even reaching out privately for mentorship. She responds quietly, sometimes with handwritten letters, sometimes with simple advice. Stay honest, stay human. Don't let the industry define you. In an era of constant oversharing and viral fame, Jessi's refusal to play the game feels almost radical. And maybe that's why her influence endures, because she remains real in a world that often isn't. As the music world waits to see what Jessi Colter will reveal next, one thing is certain: her story is far from over. Whether she finally opens the lost vault, releases a memoir, or simply continues to live quietly in the desert, her legacy has already shifted. She is no longer just an outlaw's wife, no longer just a footnote in one Jennings story. She is Jessi Colter, fiercely private, fiercely authentic, and fiercely unforgettable. Her life is a testament to enduring love, quiet strength, and the kind of authenticity that doesn't fade with time. If you've been moved by Jessi's extraordinary life and the quiet power of her story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. There are more untold stories, more hidden histories, waiting to be shared. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next.